Good morning, dear students. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and the subject today we are studying is Cambridge O Levels Physics 5054. Today we have set our hearts to solve May-June 2023 1-1 paper. This paper is a multiple choice paper. Here we have 40 questions, and the time allowed for this paper is 1 hour. So let's start today's paper. So May-June 2023, 1-1 paper, and here we go. Question number 1. A student wishes to measure directly the circumference of a football. What is the most suitable instrument to use? If you want to measure the circumference of a football directly, then the best thing will be something which can be wrapped around the circumference of the football. So I think it could be the best thing will be the measuring tape. So I think B is the best option. So let's check B. Question number 1, B is the right answer. Question number 2. He says, which equation contains two vector quantities? So let's check. This is a vector quantity. This velocity is a vector quantity. Time is a scalar quantity. So in the very first option, we have this equation. Acceleration is a vector. Velocity is a vector. Time is scalar. So A is the answer. Question number 2, A is the right answer. Now we have question number 3 showing up on your screen. So here we have forces of 6 Newton and 8 Newton act as shown. Which diagram shows the resultant R of these two forces? You see, here they have shown two forces, and when they represented them, they have put both the tails of those vectors together. So when the tails of the two vectors are joining each other, then you can find their resultant force by applying the parallelogram law. For completing the parallelogram, what I will do, I will complete the parallelogram, and where the tails are joined, I will join it with the opposite corner, and that will give me the resultant vector. Let me show you. I have done this on a paper. Can you see this? Here you can see I have completed this parallelogram, and where the tails of the two vectors were joined, I have joined that with the opposite corner of the parallelogram. And so this line is my resultant vector. So the option will be, you can see, so the right option will be A. So the right option is A. Question number 3, A is the answer. So here we have question number 4. He says a speed time graph for the journey of a car is shown. Here you can see the speed is increasing, and here the speed is constant. So what is the distance time graph for the journey? So on the distance time graph, when the speed is increasing, it should be represented with a curve whose gradient is gradually increasing. And then when the speed is constant, it should be represented with an inclined straight line. On a distance time graph, first there should be a curve whose gradient is gradually increasing, and then it should be an inclined straight line. So I think the B is the answer, because this is the curve whose gradient is increasing, which means speed is increasing. The gradient of the distance time graph represents the speed, and then the gradient becomes constant. Here the gradient is constant, which means that the speed is constant. So we think question number 4, B is the right option, sir. Question number 4, B is the right option. Okay, so we have here question number 5, and he says the gravitational field strength of the Earth is 9.8 Newton per kg. The gravitational field strength on Mars is 3.7 Newton per kg. The difference between the weight of an object on Earth and the weight of the same object on the Mars is 25 Newton. What is the mass of the object? Okay, so the mass, the weight is mg. So the weight on the Earth minus the weight on the Mars is equals to 25 Newton. The difference between the two weights, sorry, is 25 Newton. So here we have, you can see, so the weight on the Earth minus the weight on the Mars is 25 Newton. So mg minus mg, the g on the Earth and the gm means the g on the Mars. So just put those values there. So m into 9.8 minus m into 3.7 equals 25. So that is 6.1 m is equals to 25. So m will be equals to 25 divided by 6.1, and that will be 4.09, which is approximately 4.1 kg. So 4.1 kg, I think question number 5, it's C part. C is the right answer, sir. Question number 5, C is the right answer. Okay, so we are going to the next question. That's question number 6. A student determines the density of a solid metal cube. Which piece of equipment does the student need? For finding the density of a cube, you need to find out the volume of the cube, and then you need to find out the mass of the cube, and then you will divide the mass with the volume. You will get the density of that cube. To determine the mass of the cube, you need a balance, and to measure the dimensions, the length, width, and height of the cube, you need a ruler. So a balance and a ruler, I think B is the right answer, sir. Question number 6, B is the right answer. Question number 6, B is the right answer, sir. Question number 7. The diagram shows the only two horizontal forces acting on a trolley that is accelerating at 0.12 meter per second square. So here to the left, we have a force of 6 Newton. Here to the right, we have a force of 3.6 Newton. So we can find the resultant force from here. That will be 6 minus 3.6, and that will be 2.4 Newton. Once I know that, I know the acceleration. I know the resultant force. Then I can apply the Newton's second law of motion, which is F is equals to ma. And if I know the resultant force, I know the acceleration, I can find the mass. So here we have question number 7. So resultant force is 6 minus 3.6, that is 2.4 Newton. Apply the formula F is equals to ma. F is 2.4, m is question, a is 0.12. So the m will be 2.4 divided by 0.12, and that will be 20 kg. 20 kg. So C is the answer, sir. Question number 7, C is the answer. Question number 7, C is the answer. Next question is question number 10. A spring is stretched to different lengths by variable force. The graph shows how the size of the force depends on the length to which the spring is stretched. So on the x-axis, the length of the spring is given. On the y-axis, the force is given. When the force is 0, the length is 10. That means unstretched length is 10. L naught is 10. Unstretched length. So from here, I can find out, for example, when the load is 4 newtons, the length is 20. So I can find out this and I can use this. Okay. So L naught is 10 centimeters when the force is 6 Newton. From here, you can see when the force is 6 newtons, the length is 25. Okay. So the stretch length is 25 centimeter when the force is 6 newtons. We can find the extension. The extension is stretched length minus unstretched length. So it will be 25 minus 10. That will be 15 centimeter. You know, F is equals to Kx. F is here 6 Newton. X is extension, that is 15 centimeter. So K will be 6 divided by 15, and that will be 2 by 5, and that is 0.4. So 0.4 is the answer. 0.4 Newton per centimeter. So let me show you the whole question. I hope you can see this. Now the whole question is showing up. Question number 8, the B is the choice. We think B is the choice. Question number 8, B is the right option, sir. Hopefully you understand this question. The next question coming up on your screen is question number 9. And here we go. It says, a uniform horizontal beam pivoted at its right hand end. So here is the pivot. The pivot is here, and this is the beam, is in equilibrium. A force of 60 Newton acts vertically upwards on the beam as shown. So this 60 Newton force is trying to produce a clockwise turning effect or clockwise moment. The weight of the beam is trying to produce anti-clockwise moment because this whole thing is in balance. So the clockwise moment and the anti-clockwise moments, they will be equals to each other. The question is, what is the weight of the beam? Very simple. Let me show you. So the clockwise moment and the anti-clockwise moments, they will be equal to each other. So 60 multiply 50, because the moment arm of this force from the pivot is 50, and the moment arm for this weight is 30. Okay, so 60 into 50 will be equals to the W, which is the weight, into 30 centimeter. So W will be equals to 60 into 50 divided by 30, and that will be 100 Newton. 100 Newton. Do we have that? Okay, so here we have, so 100 Newton is the right answer, I think. Question number 9, D is the answer, and our answer is also D. Question number 9, D is the right answer, sir. Question number 10 is showing up on your screen. He says a constant frictional force acts on a moving object for a short amount of time, causing the momentum of the object to decrease. Which expression is used to calculate the time for which the force acts? Okay, so the time is equals to, it's a formula, because you know the rate of change of momentum is equals to force. That means change in momentum divided by time is equals to force. So the time will be equals to change in the momentum divided by force. So I think A is the option. Question number 10, A is the right option, sir. Question number 11 is coming up on your screen. A large stone is rolled onto a lorry using a ramp. The length of the ramp is L. The stone is lifted a height of H. The mass of the stone is M. The weight of the stone is W. Which expression is equals to the useful work done on the stone? You know the work done is equals to the force multiplied distance moved in the direction of the force. Work done is also um, gain in the potential energy. So here we can find the gain in the potential energy, and that will be equals to the weight of the stone multiply the vertical height gained by the stone. That will be W multiply H. So I think this is the right answer. Question number 11, B is the answer. So our answer is right. Okay, question number 12. The diagram shows a burning candle. Which energy store is associated with the burning candle? In the burning candle, the wax is burning. So the wax has chemical potential energy. So we think A is the right option. Question number 12, A is the right option, sir. Question number 13. An African elephant has a mass of 6,000 kg, and each of its 4 feet has an area of 0.20 meters square. The gravitational field strength G is 9.8 Newton per kg. What is the average pressure due to the elephant when it is standing stationary or on all 4 feet on level ground? The area of the 1 foot is 0.20 meters square, because he has 4 feet on the ground. So its contact area will be 4 multiplied 0.20. We know his mass, we know the G value, we can find out the weight. The pressure will be weight divided by the contact area. So let me show you. So pressure is equals to weight divided by area. So weight is mg. The area in contact with the ground will be 4 times the area of 1 foot. So it will be 6,000 kg multiplied 9.8 divided by 4 divided by 0.20. So you will get 58800 divided by 0.8. That will be 73,500 Pascal, which is approximately 74 kilopascal. 74 kilopascal. Do we have this? Yeah, we have here. So question number 13, C is the choice, 74 kilopascal. C is the choice. Question number 14, he says, which row describes the shape and the volume of a liquid at constant temperature? At constant temperature, the volume of the liquid is fixed and the shape of the liquid is not fixed. Shape is not fixed and the volume is fixed. So I think C is the right answer. Question number 14, C is the right answer, sir. Okay, so we are going to the next question. That is question number 15. He says, which row shows how the forces and the distances between the particles in a solid generally compare with the forces and distance in a liquid. So he's comparing solid with the liquid. Forces between the particles in the solid, they will be definitely stronger, and the distance between the particles in the solid, that will be smaller. So I think B is the right option. Question number 15, B is the right option. Hopefully you understand. Question number 16, he says, and let me increase the size so you can have okay, so now it's not okay. An incomplete statement about latent heat is given. Latent heat is involved when the state change is taking place. Latent heat is the amount of heat or energy required to overcome the forces between the molecules and change the state of a substance. Which words are inserted into the gap 1 and gap 2 to correctly complete the sentence? So gap 1, it is the amount of energy, and in the gap 2, the word state must come. So I think A is the choice. Question number 16, A is the right choice, sir. Question number 17. A cold solid is placed on top of a hot solid. Thermal energy is transferred from the hot solid to the cold one. What is the explanation for this? Because here the energy is transferring from one solid to another solid, and both the solids are in contact with each other. The process mainly by which the energy is transferred is conduction. And in the conduction, the particles transfer energy to the next particle by remaining in their fixed position by the vibration. Okay, or maybe in some cases, maybe there are some free electrons also involved. A hot solid expands, so its particles will move further apart. Energy is transferred from one particle to the next. This sentence is the right sentence describing the conduction. Heat always rises. That happens in the convection. And molecules are free to move randomly through the solid. That do not happen in the solid. So B looks the best option to me, sir. Question number 17, B is the right answer. Question number 18, uh, he says a house is to be thermally insulated to reduce the thermal energy loss and reduce the fuel cost. Which type of thermal insulation pays back the more cost of the installation in the shortest time? Okay, so loft insulation installation costs $300 and energy cost saving $300 per year. So here the thing will be, the fuel cost will be, the saving will be equals to the installation in just 1 year. This will happen in 1 year. Here he says double glazing the installation costs $7,000 and energy cost saving is $400 per year. So you will divide the 7,000 with the 400, and let me take out the calculator. Let me take out this calculator. So I will divide the 7, they are saying 7,000, and you divide it with the 400. So it will take approximately how many years? They are going to take 17.5 years. So it will take 17.5 years. As a cavity wall installation costs $700. Energy cost saving $200 per year. So this is going to cost you 700 divided by 200, and this is going to cost you more than 3 years. It will be 3 point something. Okay. So draft proofing and installation costs $100, and the cost saving is so $30 per year. So $100 divided by 30, and that will be 3 point something. Okay, so 3.3, I think. And so their question is, which type of thermal insulation pays back the cost of installation in the shortest time? And that is the first one, and that is loft insulation. So loft insulation, I think D is the right answer. Here the cost is recovered in the shortest time. Hopefully you understand. Little story type question. D is the right option, sir. So our answer is right. Here we have question number 19. He says the diagram shows two divergent rays of light from an object O being reflected from a plane mirror. At which position is the image formed? Okay, so the method is you prolong this line behind the mirror, you prolong this reflected ray behind the mirror. Where these two rays will intersect, that is the position. You can see I have prolonged this reflected ray behind the mirror. I have prolonged this reflected ray behind the mirror. So where these two rays intersect each other, that is the point where the image will be formed, and that is B. So I think at the position B, the image will be formed. Question number 19. B is the right answer, sir. Okay, so next question is question number 20. He says, light is incident on a mirror at an angle of 45 degree. As shown, the mirror can be rotated about an axis into the page through point X. So this mirror can be rotated, okay, about an axis. Okay, the mirror is rotated until the light is reflected back along its original path. When the light will be reflected back on the mirror, the light is reflected back when the light strikes the mirror at 90-degree angle. So if you want this angle to be 90 degree, so you have to rotate it 45 clockwise. So the mirror is rotated until the light is reflected back along its original path. Through which angle is the mirror rotated? So we think rotate this 45-degree clockwise. So this angle will become 90 degrees. So the light will come and go back on through the same path. So I think 45-degree clockwise. So C is the choice. Question number 20, I think C is the right choice. Hopefully you are able to understand these questions. Okay, so we are going to the next question. That is question number 21. Question number 21. A ray of light is incident on a plastic block in air at an angle of incidence I. The refractive index of the plastic is N. The light ray refracts along the plastic air boundary when it reaches X. Which equation is correct? Okay, so here the light is entering from the air into the plastic, and at X the light is emerging from the plastic into the air. Here this is the angle of incidence, and this is the angle of refraction. 41 is the angle of refraction. You know the refractive index N is equals to sine I by sine R. Here, remember one thing, that we always keep that angle in the numerator, which is in the rare medium. So N is equal to sine I by sine R. So sine I will be equals to N multiply sine R. So it will be N multiply sine 41. Just enter it into your calculator. The value of the refractive index, we don't have to calculate this value. You just have to write down the formula. So the sine I will be equals to n multiply sine 41. So it will be n multiply sine 41. N multiply sine 41. So I think C is the right option. C is the right option, sir. So C is the right option. So let's check question number 21. C is the right option. So next question coming up on your screen is question number 22. He says the diagram shows white light entering a prism. So when the white light will enter into a prism, it will be refracted, it will be dispersed, it will be converted into its constituent colors. And what happens at point X? And what is the color of the light that strikes the screen at the point Z? So you remember the coding for the color is Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv. This is I. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So on the top, the color will be red. So at the point Z, red color will be formed. So at X, dispersion and refraction will take place. And on Z, red color will appear. So I think question number 22, C is the best option. Question number 22, C is the best option. Question number 23, he says, which row names a region of electromagnetic spectrum with a wavelength longer than that of the visible light and a region with a frequency that is greater than of the visible light? So the code word for this is, you remember, Ronald McDonald is very ugly except Gary. That means the radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. In this sequence, when you go down, the wavelength decreases and the frequency increases. See, their question is wavelength longer than the visible light. Wavelength longer than the visible light is infrared, microwaves, radio waves. And the frequency greater than the visible light, that must be ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. So I think A is the right answer, sir. Question number 23, A is the right answer. Question number 23, A is the right answer. Okay, so we are going to next question, that is 24. Question number 24. Sound travels at different speeds in different states of matter. Which list gives the three states of matter range in order of the speed of the sound from slowest to fastest? The sound is slowest in the gas. For example, in the air, its speed is 330 meter per second. In the liquid, its speed is like 1500 meter per second. And for example, in the iron or the steel, the speed of the sound is 5000 meter per second. So I think gas, liquid, and the solid. So I think A is the choice. Question number 24, A is the choice. Question number 25. He says bar magnets and various non-magnetic and demagnetized metal bars are placed in the different arrangements shown. In which arrangement do the bars repel? You see, from a magnet, repulsion happens when another magnet comes near it. When the same poles of the two magnets face each other, they repel each other. So repulsion will happen when the two bar magnets will come close to each other in such a way that their same poles are facing each other. So I think D is the best option. Question number 25, D is the right option, sir. Then we have question number 26. He says, A student uses a wooden clamp and a stand to hold a freely suspended bar magnet. So here is a clamp and stand. Here we have a magnet. The diagram shows that in experiment 1, the student holds a bar magnet next to the suspended magnet. In this case, either they will attract or repel each other, so this magnet will move. In experiment number 2, the student holds an iron bar next to the suspended magnet. Because iron is a magnetic material, so it will attract this magnet, so this magnet will move. In experiment number 3, the student holds a steel bar next to the suspended magnet. Because the steel is also a magnetic material, so this bar magnet will be attracted to that steel bar, so this magnet will move. So their question is, in which experiment does the suspended magnet move? So the suspended magnet will move in all these experiments, 1, 2, and 3. I think A is the option. So question number, this is question number 26. I think A is the option. Question number 26, A is the right option, sir. Then we have, in an electrostatic experiment, a plastic rod is rubbed with a cloth. The cloth becomes negatively charged. Which diagram shows the charge on the rod and describe the movement of the charge? Because when you rub the plastic rod with the cloth and the cloth becomes negatively charged, that means that the electrons have moved from the rod to the cloth. So the cloth will become negative and the rod will become positive. So electrons have moved from the rod to the cloth. So I think A is the right answer. I will show you the other options also. So because the cloth has become negative, so the rod will become positive, the cloth becomes negative. This means that the electrons from the rod has moved to the cloth. So I think A is the choice. Question number 27, A is the right option, sir. Question number 27, A is the right option. A is the right option. Then we have question number 28. He says an object, he says let me show you the question. This is that question number 27. Okay. Question number 28 is coming up on your screen. He says, object X is stationary and positively charged. It experiences a force due to the field produced by the object Y. The arrows shows the direction of the field produced by the Y. Which statement about the direction of the force on the X is correct? You see, X is a positively charged body, so it will move along these electric field lines. So here the electric field lines are towards the left, so it will go to the left. It is towards the left because it is an electric field. Yes, I think B is the right option. Question number 28. Question number 28, A. Sorry, I said it is towards, sorry, this is not left, this is right. Oh my God. This is right. I said it is left. Because here is the arrow of that electric field. Sorry. So the electric field is here towards the right side. Sorry. So the positive charge will move along the electric field. So A is the right choice. I am sorry. A is the right answer. Question number 28, A is the right choice. Question number 29 is coming up on your screen. He says, the diagram shows a battery of three 1.5 volt cells. What is the advantage of this arrangement of cells? You see, when you connect the cells in parallel to each other, like here, their EMF of the combination do not increase. The advantage is that the life of the cells become longer. The battery can supply a current for a longer time than a single 1.5 volt cell. Yes, this is the right answer, sir. Question number 29. Question number 29. And question number 29, I think A is the option. Yes, question number 29, A is the right option. Question number 30, a potential divider consists of a light dependent resistor and the resistors connected to a 6-volt battery. The output is 3 volts. So they have taken the output here. This is the R2, if you have read that article, and this is the R1, the article in your book about the potential divider. This is my R1, this is R2. From R2, they have taken the V out, and that V out is 3 volt. The voltage of the battery is 6 volt. Their question is, what is the resistance of the LDR? They want me to find out the R2 value. Let me show you. So a simple, a straightforward thing, and here we go. Okay, so here we have question number 30. V out is equals to, you remember that formula, V out is equals to, if you are taking the V out from R2, then the formula is V out is equals to the R2 divided by the total resistance multiplied the voltage of the battery. So V out is 3, R2 is question, R1 is 10,000, and VB, voltage of the battery, that is 6. So 3 divided by 6 is equals to R2 divided by 10,000 plus R2 cross multiply. So you will have R2 equals to 10,000. At the end, you will have R2 equals to 10,000. R2 will be equals to 10,000. The resistance of the LDR will be 10,000. So here is the question. C is the option, sir. Question number 30. C is the right option. Question number 31. Okay. Three students each suggest a consequence of wiring lamps in parallel rather than in series. So when you connect the lamps in parallel, so everyone will get the same voltage. If they are everyone will get the same voltage. Plus, you can switch on and off them separately. If one lamp will break, obviously the other lamps will not be affected. If one lamp breaks, the other lamps stay lit. That is true. And the lamps can be switched on and off separately. That is also true. You can control them separately, individually, each of them. The potential difference across each lamp is equal to the potential difference across the supply. That is also true. So which statement is correct? 1, 2, and 3, they all are correct. So I think A is the option. Question number 31, A is the right option, sir. So let me go to the next question. The next question coming up on your screen is question number 32. He says, when wire XY is moved downward, that's very important. When the wire XY is moved downwards between the poles of a stationary magnet, an EMF is produced across the X and Y. Which option produces an EMF across X and Y in the opposite direction? You can do two things. You have to do one of these two things. You see, you move the XY downward, move the XY in the upward direction. So you will have an EMF produced in the opposite direction. Or you can move the XY downward, but change the poles of that permanent magnet. So do one of these two, okay? So move both the wire and the magnet upward at the same speed? No. If you will move them both at the same speed, there will be no current produced. The wire is kept stationary and the magnet is moved upward. This is exactly same as moving the wire downward. So it will produce the EMF in the same direction. The wire is moved downwards and the magnet is moved upwards. And that will do no good. And the wire is moved upwards and the magnet is kept stationary. This is the best method to produce EMF in the opposite direction. 32D is the choice. Okay, so question number 33. An alternating voltage is displayed on an oscilloscope screen. The Y gain is set at 2 volt per centimeter. The scale for the Y-axis is 1 square here, 1 centimeter here represents 2 volt. Okay, what is the maximum value of the voltage? From the mean position to the top or from the mean position to the bottom? There are 1, 2, 2. So 2 multiply 1 square 1 centimeter represents 2 volt, so it will be 4 volt. So I think B is the option. Question number 33. B is the option, which is right answer, sir. Question number 34 is coming up on your screen. The results of a scattering experiment show that a very small nucleus contains most of the matter in an atom. What is scattered in the experiment? They're talking about the Geiger and Marson scattering experiment, in which a thin gold foil is bombarded with the alpha particles. And most of the alpha particles went straight through the gold foil undeflected, which from this experiment they concluded about a very small nucleus in each atom, and they thought that most of the space in an atom is empty. So the particles which they used to bombard on the gold foil was alpha particles. So I think A is the choice. Question number 34. A is the choice, which is right answer, sir. Question number 35. Atoms P and Q are isotopes of the same element. How does the composition of an atom of the P compares with the composition of an atom of the Q? The isotopes have the same proton number, but their nucleon number is different from each other. Isotopes have the same proton number, but in their nucleus, the number of neutrons is different from each other. That's why they have different nucleon numbers. So their proton number will be the same, but the number of neutrons will be different. So I think question number 35C is the choice. Question number 35C is the right choice. Question number 36. The nucleus of an atom emits an alpha particle. How do the proton number and the nucleon number change? Whenever alpha decays takes place, whenever an alpha particle is given out, the daughter nucleus will have 2 protons less as compared to the parent nucleus, and its nucleon number will be decreased by 4. Whenever an alpha particle is given out, the proton number of the daughter nucleus as compared to the parent nucleus is its proton number is 2 less and its nucleon number is 4 less. So the proton number decreases by 2 and the nucleon number decreases by 4. I think A is the option. Question number 36, A is the right option, sir. Question number 37. The diagram shows how the thickness of paper is measured during manufacture. If the sheet is too thick, fewer beta particles can reach the detector. So here we have paper, here we have roller, now we have a very thin sheet of paper. Here we have a source which is emitting beta particles, here we have its detector. By this detector, we can tell about the thickness of the paper. If it changes, the detector will tell you the change in the beta particles it is receiving. Why are the beta particles used for this purpose? The reason is very simple. Alpha particles cannot pass through the paper. Beta particles can penetrate through the paper and reach the detector. So, why are the beta particles used for this purpose? Alpha particles are all stopped by the paper. That is true. Alpha particles make the paper radioactive. No, gamma radiation is all stopped by the paper. That is totally wrong. Gamma radiation is only produced by source with a short half-life. That is also wrong. So I think best option is A. Alpha particles are all stopped by the paper. So you cannot use the alpha particle here. Here you have to use beta particles because they can pass through that paper. So question number 37, A is the choice, which is right, sir. Okay, now we are going to question number 38. It says a sample of tritium has a mass of 32 milligram. Tritium has a half-life of 12 years. How much of the sample of tritium decays in 36 years? So if the half-life is 12 years, in 36 years mean how many half-lives? 36 divided by 12, that is 3. So 3 half-lives have passed. in the start, there are 32 milligrams. When one half-life will pass, it will become half, 16 milligram. When another half-life will pass, it will become half, it will be 8 milligram. When another half-life will pass, it will become 4 milligram. So after 36 years, when 3 half-lives have passed, the remaining will be 4 milligram. So how much has decayed? That will be n naught minus n. So that 32 minus 4, that is 28 gram. 28 gram. How much of the sample of the tritium decays in 36 days? You see from this wording is very, 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 very important. They are talking about how much has decayed. So that is n naught minus n. This gives you how much is remaining. Okay. So that's why 32 minus n, 32 minus 4, that will give you 28. So I think D is the option. Little tricky question. D is the right option, sir. Question number 39. It says it takes 27 days for the moon to orbit the Earth. The average value for the radius of the moon's orbit is 3.8 expo 8 meter. What is the average orbital speed of the moon? The formula for the orbital speed is 2 pi r divided by t, where the r is the radius of the orbit of the moon and t is the time in seconds in which it completes its orbit. So we will have orbital speed is 2 pi r divided by t. So 2 pi 3.8 expo 8 divided by 27 days. So multiply 24 multiplied with 3600, because in 1 hour there are 3600. In 1 day there are 24 hours. So when you will do it, you will get 1023.49. So approximately 1000 meter per second. 1000 meter per second. Question number 39B is the answer. Question number 39B is the right option, sir. Question number 40. What is the nuclear reaction that takes place in stable stars? In the stable stars, the hydrogen and hydrogen, they are fusing into each other and they are making helium. So the process of nuclear fusion is taking place, and that produces enormous amount of heat. So the fusion of hydrogen into helium, that is the right option, sir. Question number 40, D is the right answer. Question number 40, D is the right option, sir. So my dear students, we have completed May-June 2023 Physics 5054 1-1 paper. I have tried my best to explain you the concepts behind these questions. I hope this video will help you. If you find this video interesting, you find this video useful, please like this video. Please share this video, the link of this video, onto your Facebook, onto your WhatsApp, onto your Twitter accounts, onto your Instagram, onto your TikToks, and that will help me to promote my channel. Thank you very much. Have a good day. God bless you all.